I actually had a Vegemite sandwich the other day for breakfast. I'm like, what do I feel like? I feel like making toast now. Just put butter and Vegemite.
I don't think it's real food, is it? I don't think it's actually.
No, it's yeast
and salt.
Yeast.
And
Yeah.
It's full of vitamin B12, Dave. You should enjoy it.
I'm surprised that Bill Gates hasn't recommended that we all switch over to Vegemite.
Accelerating harder.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. Welcome back to the Dave Palumbo Podcast. I'm joined by John Romano and Lee Priest today, and we have a really potent but short show because John has got an
How dare you cut John off? Carry on, John. When you accelerate hard in the Camaro.
The problem, Lee, and John always points this out, is that our pregame show is always better than the show itself. So I have to start the recording as soon as possible.
You have to.
People only heard the pregame show; they wouldn't even want to listen to the real show anymore.
And we'd probably have multiple lawsuits on various fronts.
That's right.
Defamation cases.
100%.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to finish questioning Lee on getting rid of his Camaro because
he cannot keep a car for more than 6 months because he gets too bored. That's his problem.
Why do you sell them? I just keep collecting them. Like my motorcycles, I can't sell them.
Because he needs the money. He has to make the profit on the old one to pay for the new one because he has to keep up.
Because here in Australia, someone goes, I only put 92 on it, but if I look online, there's 68 Camaros in worse condition than mine, 140,000 and more. Here in Australia, they go for big dollars down here.
Yeah, because there can't be that many of them there, right? I mean, how'd they even get there? I had a 69 Baldwin Motion 454 Camaro, and that thing. To this day, I have not driven anything that rattled my brain like that thing. The rear quarter panel on the driver's side would wrinkle when you jumped on it off the line. That's how much freaking torque that thing.
Isn't it funny? Because I said I sometimes think about getting newer cars. Like I've had the newer Mustangs with the Whipple superchargers, and I said there's just something about like all the new cars now just sounds like extractors and exhausts. You get an old classic car and start it up. It sounds like the whole car's alive. It actually sounds like the motor, the engine. It sounds like,
There's a 69 Camaro, $39,000 for this thing, Lee.
How much? Yeah. Now look at Australia. Go to carsales.com.au and put in 68 Camaro.
That car is so badass. The tires are not big enough, but
that's what I hate too. Someone has a muscle car and they got these little fucking tires on it.
What can they try to keep it stock? But I don't agree with that.
Hey, Lee.
Wait, I want to ask Lee. What do you think of period correct modifications?
I don't know. I try and keep them as classic as I can. Like my old Mustang. The only thing I changed in that, like I put in a newer radio. So I could have the Bluetooth and that, but the newer radio still looked like the old original one.
Right.
So I kept it like that. But I have seen some, like, the resto mods where, actually, I watched this show the other day where a guy took a Camaro body, like the old 68, made some modifications, and he put onto the new engine and interior of the new Camaro. So it looked pretty cool. It was like the old body, but with all the new. But I think I like the old classics, even though it's annoying if my friend's beside me because it's left-hand drive. I can't lean over and wind the window down because there's no it's like the other day, my accelerator, I've got the old linkage with so I have to get a little bit, and I'm driving down the road, I take my foot off the gas. Fuck, I'm still going. So all of a sudden I look down, my cable's not stuck, my carpet's not stuck. As if I put it in neutral shut, I was like, newer cars today, you get the warning lights. In those old classics, it's like, work it out, fucker, very quick while you're driving.
You got to pound the pedal a few times for the release of it.
So I'm going to take the old linkage accelerator out and put the cable on, and just
Yeah, but that linkage is so beautiful, though. When you take it apart and service it, it's little rose joints and the bar. It's a beautiful piece of engineering. It's a shame it's under your foot,
I know. And I just love sitting in the car and revving it, and the whole body just.
I like the whine, the gear noise, and the induction noise, and the exhaust, and there's so many different noises and vibrations.
My mate, he owns an exhaust shop, and he's like, Lee, I love this car. He goes, let's do something with the exhaust, because it's got the exhaust that dumps out down the back there. He goes, I want to make you a nice custom. It'll sound beautiful. Custom just brings side pipes out just in front of the back tires.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant by period correct.
Doesn't that devalue the car, though? Because the real collectors.
Well, if you go for the realist people where they want everything matching and don't touch a thing, it's like, I put nice different wheels on. I still got the original wheels, but the purists won't even touch the wheels. I was like, it's got to be.
You know what, though? I've seen these old cars, and I've been in. Troy Moore restores all these old cars. I mean, his are amazing. But at the end of the day, I like to drive in the newest technology interior. Yeah. It might look good on the outside, but the interior is like, it's like you're driving an old.
What he said, John, he said he likes to drive. Listen, I went from the Aston Martin to the Camaro. When you're the Aston Martin, you don't have to drive. You go to a classic car, you're gonna fucking drive.
Right. But isn't it so nice to have all the creature comforts in the car?
Right.
I disagree.
I feel like I'm in like the command center for like the NASA or something like that.
But there's too much. There's too much interference. It's like my wife's Audi. She's got an S5. You got to turn like 20 things off on that before you drive it, because it's dangerous. You're going to go make a left-hand turn and cut the car in front of you, and the car thinks you're too close and slams on the brakes. It can cause an accident. The
only thing I'm going to change on the Camaro is because of the power in it. I've still got 4 drum brakes. I might put this on the front, because sometimes when they get warm, I'm getting the leg work out, pumping them to slow the beast down.
Well, that's what I asked you about period correct, modifications.
Like little things like that, yeah.
I think as long as you save all the old parts, that's what I do on my bike.
I do. I keep all the old ones,
Yeah, I got a big plastic, tote, and I just put all the old parts in there and save them. And if I ever sell the bike,
because it's still got the original bushes and ball joints at the moment, I've got to get them changed. I'm going through that where you drive along and you hit a bump, and now you're 2 feet this way on the it's called a bump steering. I'm over here.
That's always.
But the other thing about the old classics too is the newer cars. I had one, where something was shutting down. The alternator fucked up, so this would turn off and that would turn off. Generally, keep a bit of duct tape, a bit of wire, a bit of new hoses in the back there. Generally, you can get your car home in the old classics.
I think it's the simplicity of the older cars. I mean,
the sound too. The sound. You can't beat the
sound. You can't beat the sound. I understand what Dave's saying about the creature comforts and the comfort about it, but I think for a performance car, you need to drive a performance car. That's why when they come out with all those automatics and the paddle shifters, that just takes away from the foot, the clutch, the shift.
I did like my old M5 that had a 6-speed. I did like.
You know how many people can't drive a stick today these days?
Because they don't exist anymore. That's why.
They exist. You got to order them. But
people don't. Because you know why? The new ones, the automatics now have surpassed the shifting. It shifts better.
They always have.
People are more worried about how many cup holders does the car fucking have.
You're right. You're right. You're 100% right.
My Camaro has no cup holders.
Yeah,
and because it's left-hand drive, unless I got a passenger, I can't even go through the fucking drive-through. I can't reach.
I didn't even think about that. It's right. You can't go through a drive-through. Speaking of drive-through, I saw you were eating McDonald's. Do you know how McDonald's gets all those eggs to be perfectly the same size?
They probably put them in a ring, don't they? Those rings.
Yeah, they put them in
cram the chicken into the ring. And
they have like a special little cup they make them in. Yeah, so they all.
Yeah, we have them on our barbecues at home. They're called egg rings. They're like a ring like that. When we have like a big barbecue plate, you just crack them into the rings.
Yeah, because they're real eggs. They do use real eggs there. They're all perfectly the same size.
But the thing is, though, they put them up. They used to be $1. Now they're $1.15. Fuck you, McDonald's.
That's pretty cheap for Australia. I got to tell you. I thought you couldn't get out of McDonald's for under $10 over there. You know.
No.
The McDonald's over here by my house, I stopped. I had to pee really bad. You can always pee at a McDonald's. Yeah. So I was out walking and I stopped in to take a leak. And I looked where you order. There's no people there anymore. It's all kiosks.
Yeah, they don't want to. Yeah, there's no one taking orders anymore. You're right.
But the thing is, though, the eggs aren't on the machine. You have to get a person to get the eggs because the eggs aren't on the machine.
I don't know how like someone like my father would ever order from McDonald's. There's no way.
You know how much the hash brown is here? A hash brown in Australia right now. They put them up $2.95 for a hash brown.
Wow! What? I told you. I knew it was expensive there. I remember going to McDonald's when I was there. It was cost a fortune.
I could buy a bag of potatoes for that.
What do they? Don't they have like what? You guys have like some weird names for some of the McDonald's sandwiches there. What are some of the weird sandwiches called there?
Yeah, it's like same as you, Big Mac, cheeseburger.
I thought they had a different name for certain things. I remember when I went there.
Those, like when they bring out some different things, like some chicken.
Yeah, you had some weird sandwiches there.
We have the Angus. You have like the Angus burger at McDonald's.
Yeah, we have the Angus burger. Yeah, we have that.
Yeah, and we have more weird shit in the McCafe because this was started in Australia.
Yeah, that's nice.
This is one of the beautiful.
Can you get a Vegemite burger at McDonald's?
They could make that actually.
They love that. They love that Vegemite there.
Have you ever tasted Vegemite?
No, I refuse. I tried. It was disgusting. Yeah,
it was so horrible. I can't believe people put that in their mouth.
They love it. They love it.
I actually had a Vegemite sandwich the other day for breakfast. I'm like, what do I feel like? I feel like making toast now. Just put butter and Vegemite.
I don't think it's real food, is it? I don't think it's actually.
No, it's yeast
and salt.
Yeast. Yeah.
It's full of vitamin B12, Dave. You should enjoy it.
I'm surprised that Bill Gates hasn't recommended that we all switch over to Vegemite.
Axle.
You know,
I use it on the axle grease on the Camaro.
You know, it's funny. Many cultures all over the world have these foods, like Limburger cheese, Vegemite. I mean, I could probably if I thought of it, I could probably think of 10 more. If your garbage can smelled like that, you would wash it out. And yet, it's designed to go in your mouth.
Yeah.
So who would ever have thought? Let me mix up some Vegemite.
When we went to Hong Kong, I went to Hong Kong with the RxMuscle crew, and Sally Taylor ordered something on the street in there. I forget what she ordered. It was so I couldn't even. I said, "There's no way I'm trying this." It was like some kind of like cockroach burger or something like that. And she was like, "Oh, it's delicious," and she was so sick later.
It's like when I go to Malaysia or Singapore. They got all those stores and they got buckets of eels and octopus, and then they got chicken sitting on a table in the sun. I'm thinking, Jesus! It's like who would eat that? But every country has something. What's that? Is it Sweden or somewhere over there where they have that canned fish and it's just like rotten? It is actually like rotten fish, but it's a delicacy. I forget what it's called. Most
cheese, John, right, is just moldy, right? Yeah. What's that cheese that's mold? Is that like
blue cheese? Like blue cheese.
Brie? Isn't Brie?
No, Brie is like a creamy cheese that's.
Oh, but what's the one that's like mold you're eating?
I think it's blue cheese.
Blue cheese. Right.
They should call it green
Gorgonzola, blue cheese, camembert.
It's delicious too. That's the funny thing.
Funny thing is that the flavors of the cheese come from the spores in the air.
Oh, really?
Because
I didn't know that.
Once you put the rennet in the milk and separate the solids and get rid of the whey, that's the same for every single cheese out there. Starts that way. So it depends on what spores they pick up in the air. Kraft, one story I know of firsthand from my brother who's in the food biz, Kraft wanted to make Limburger cheese.
Right.
And they couldn't get it. They couldn't do it. It wouldn't come out right. So they hired some consultant from Germany to come over. He walks into the facility, looks around and goes, "Oh, I know what's wrong. It's too clean." So Limburger cheese, and he smears it all over the tiles on the wall. The walls are coated in Limburger cheese, and then the next thing you know, they're making perfect Limburger cheese.
Really?
Before the homeless in Los Angeles, we could start a cheese factory and just get the people off the streets with their dirty hands to make the cheese.
Did you see California's now offering all the illegal immigrants free health care?
Going to be like
the people who actually
$3.1
live there
billion.
health care.
Right.
The illegals.
Well, the border, there is no border anymore down there. It's like, it's chaos. Come on. I was like, oh my
chaos. God. You know, I got it, not for nothing, but that is the most dangerous element of living in America today. People have no clue about. They busted a terrorist cell in the boonies in Georgia not that long ago. These terrorists are here. They're here. They're already here. All we got to do is start a war with Iran or Iraq or whatever, one of those countries. They call it jihad. They're already here. And you're going to get terror attacks in America, on American soil, against Americans by terrorists who've been led into the country by Joe Biden.
Sadly, I think that's their plan, the Democrats, because I think, sadly, this year that might happen the way with now Iran and Iraq again, all this shit. And like you said, yeah, they've caught a few, but how many haven't they caught? And they're just fucking waiting right now. I think, sadly, something big is going to go down, probably near election time again.
Right. Yeah, well, if they've caught 127 people on the terror watch list that they caught, how many got away? How many of those gotaways that are terrorists? You don't know. It's absolutely foolish to think the number is zero. So
and you don't need many. Just say even just 20. 20, total crazy terrorists, extremists. You get 20 of them, put 2 of them in each major city somewhere to do something. It causes chaos.
Speaking of chaos, I hear, Lee, is it true that you're on the Jeffrey Epstein list? Did you get on that airplane with him?
Well, I just went over there for a holiday, had a nice beach and stuff. And, she said she was 18. Who am I to check the ID?
I heard Lee's on the list, John.
That's a good point, Lee. You know what, Dave, the thing, everybody says, it's pedophilia. Okay. When you have a 16-year-old girl that looks like a 25-year-old girl, that's not pedophilia. You might be guilty of some statutory crime, but that's not pedophilia. Pedophilia is like with an 8-year-old. When you go looking at a girl who they look, these girls 16, 17,
and they tell you they're 25.
Right.
It's not like you're going to check their ID.
But the problem, John, the problem was that these people went there knowing what they were getting.
No, that's a totally separate issue. I'm talking about the general classification.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is,
even on that island though, that one girl that had a photo taken with Prince, what's his name? Andrew. She's in photos with him and she goes, I was forced to have sex with him. But she goes back to the island how many times? Now, if you went there the first time and you thought you were meant to massage and you had sex unwillingly, why would you keep going back another 3 or 4 times?
A lot of these girls are getting paid
Exactly. I know. It's like Monica Lewinsky. Oh, she knew what she was doing. Who keeps a dress with semen on it for that many years? Go wash it. It's like, come on.
Look,
they're crafty. Look, this is what I hate because it's like anything now. The word racism's thrown around. It diminishes true racism. You disagree with anyone, you're racist. And now, sadly, these girls can throw around rape or sexual assault, this and that, when they know the game too well now. And sadly, it diminishes for the women who are actually rape victims and sexual assault victims, because some of them now are playing this game where, I forget what case it was not long ago here in Australia, and they actually caught her out. She was trying to do it to some footballer. But her best friend turned her in because she had text messages. Oh, yeah, he's worth this much. I'm going to do this to him and do that, and then claim this. So we got thrown out of court, and she had to do a bit of time, because normally they can accuse someone, and then when they found out it's false, nothing happens to them. But yet the people have been ruined through the media. So
how about Cardi B? She admitted to drugging guys, getting them to fall asleep, and robbing them.
Oh, really? When she was younger?
Yeah.
Wow.
But she's an icon. People love her.
Well, because she's a star now, So we could give her stars.
And her song about the big wet, pussy was like the #1 hit. And then the other one that said a bad word was being cancelled, and she's getting awards for this song. I'm like, the world's gone crazy.
You have men swimming on the women's swim team.
I don't even want to go into that. The new thing now is that they're allowing. What was the latest? I'm trying to think what it was in what sport did they say they have to go through 4 years though of being a woman. I can't remember which sport it was.
Well,
Anyway, I want to talk about supplements because John brought up a good, topic earlier when we were talking off camera. And he said, what's the future of supplementation? So I wanted to kind of fantasize for a minute. And I wanted to, go over that with you. What were your ideas? You kind of threw a couple of interesting ideas out there about what you think the future might be of how people take nutritional supplements. I mean, right now we have like these supplement like bars you can go to almost like in malls where they'll give you IVs and they'll give you shots of B12. And it seems
I think that's where it's. So my premise is basically this. The heart of any supplement that you take, be it a protein supplement, a tablet, a capsule, it all started life as a powder somewhere. So the idea is how to get the powder into the body. So right now it's, pills, capsules, shakes. Now they got gels. And so I think basically compound wise, we have so many different supplements you can take right now that if you tried to create a monthly budget, you'd end up like spending the equivalent of a freaking mortgage payment if you wanted to take everything that there is, available. So I think adding more choices to that pile is futile and stupid. What I think the future is going to be is the delivery system. How do you get the powder into the body? So gels, like the inhaler, like you do the insulin. The little like the growth hormone tube that you push the powder into the liquid, the little plastic bottle with the powder already in it. You just got to add the water. So I think you're going to see that kind of stuff now proliferate the market and become like who's got the coolest, delivery system versus,
the problem, John, is anytime you say the word delivery system, that becomes a drug, and that's. Right. You can't have a delivery system and be sold as a nutritional supplement. So I think that's going to put the kibosh on supplement companies using that. Not to mention the cost of the packaging would be too much. And I don't think people will pay for it. But I can definitely see now like the rejuvenation clinics selling more and more of those type of supplements. That's why the injectable vitamins are so, popular. I use injectable glutathione because you can't take that by orally. You only can take it by injection. So I use that every day.
I had a friend, he had this protein powder. It was like some nano type protein. And he says the molecules were that thin that he would get that DMSO cream and get the protein powder. He goes, look, you can actually rub it on your skin and it will be absorbed into your skin. And that's what he used to do. I said, you're rubbing the protein. He's like, yeah, because it's all nano protein and it's so small, I can just rub it on. And he used to do that. He used to rub the protein powder with the DSMO cream for it to absorb into his skin. I'm like,
it seems like a very hard way to get a protein shake. That I think I'd rather just gulp it down.
That was my point.
God rest his soul, he died. God rest his soul, he died of cancer. So I might not recommend doing that.
But that was my point before the show. It's that you're going to see. I think you're going to take the semantics out of delivery system. However you get. Because look, a capsule, a tablet, a powder, it's a delivery system. It's how you get the compound into your body. So yes, it does sound like a drug, but a lot of companies, Gaspari for one, is making supplements that look like drugs or packaged like drugs.
Well, that's the marketing.
And so, I mean, I that's what I mean. I think the delivery, the dispensing mechanism is going to be what you're going to see the innovations in, not necessarily a better fat burner, a better protein, a better whatever. I just don't think you're going to see it.
What do you think about the idea of was always my fantasy, like when I was bodybuilding, I said, if we could only have like IV bags full of like branched chain amino acids, and then when you go to sleep at night, you hook yourself up and you just run IV bag.
My friend used to, that same guy with the protein that used to rub it on his skin, he used to do that because he had a friend that was a nurse.
Oh, wow.
And for people who were like anorexic or something and can't eat, it was called amino something, and each bag was equivalent to 3,000 calories. So when he'd go to sleep at night, he would put it in his arm to get this extra 3,000 calories.
Yeah, the problem, Lee, was that he didn't eat during the day enough, probably. That's
he did during the day. He just wanted more. But wouldn't it be good if you could get something like creatine or something in an eyedropper? You just go.
I don't know if I want creatine in my eye, but yeah, I get the idea.
Actually, if you could divorce the emotional side of food from human beings and just convince them to consume nutrients, There was a movie, some sci-fi movie. I can't think of the name of it, but it looked like this oatmeal slop, and
I remember that one. Got it. Yeah, I remember that movie. Yeah,
it had every amino acid, everything you need. All you had to do was eat that.
Were they in space or something like that? I think it was, right?
Yeah, they were in space or something somewhere. But I mean, the concept of being able, do you want to eat or do you want to nourish yourself? So the two separate things. So eating is an enjoyment, instant gratification. It's an emotional thing. It's all of that shit. If you can divorce yourself of that and just eat to survive, grow, repair, whatever, and just eat a mix of whatever that is, scientifically, you could ostensibly live on that and not eat, maintain great body composition, great muscle mass, and never have to worry about what to make for dinner.
But eating is cool, though. I mean, that's fun.
That's the problem. That is the problem.
Sometimes when you've done it for so long, you get sick of eating and sick of protein drinks. If somebody could put 30 grams of protein in a capsule, I'd be like down with it. Or, as John said, we have the protein puddings, like you have your protein pudding, the Protolize. I got it sitting right now. Now, imagine if you could take that, but as John said, now add to that all the nutrients from broccoli and carrot and that, but still have it taste like the chocolate protein. So you're getting everything you need from a bowl of chocolate mousse or something. That would be great because
that's what we try to do with these food, the foods and bars and stuff like that. We try, you try, but people are so taste preoccupied, as John is saying, that if it doesn't taste good, they won't do it. And that's what makes it. You know what? The guys at Legendary Foods, Bruce, who works for them, and Ron, who used to own Quest, they sent me these chips. They made these like puffed chips made out of protein. They look like Doritos, but they almost have like a popcorny taste to them. They're puffed like I don't know how they did it. Puffed protein. They're so delicious. There's only like 3 grams of carbs in them. It's 20 grams of protein per bag. These things are outrageously tasty. I can't wait to. I can't stop eating them. They sent me like a couple like sample bags.
I was hooked on their little cinnamon bun things that you put in the microwave.
Yeah, those are real good. This makes it even. They're even better. These, I'm telling you. Let me take a pull.
I wouldn't know.
What I normally do is I just do the old basic way. I get a packet of Smith's chips. Or I get a Cadbury's Dairy Milk chocolate bar and have that with a protein drink, and that's my.
Lee either eats very healthy, John, or he eats absolute junk. There's no in between.
No, I eat both. I'm a balanced person. I'll eat like dinner last night. I had steak, vegetables, and rice. After dinner, had a big bowl of chips. I had a bowl of ice cream with hard chocolate topping on it, and then I had a couple of other things like that. So it's all the stuff I eat in between my healthy meal.
Right. Yeah, these are the chips. They're unbelievable.
Used to say that eat 6 good meals and then you can eat whatever you want. I forgot who that was.
That's me. I said that.
Anyway, I gotta go.
All right, hold on. Don't leave yet. You got 6 minutes still.
I got 1 minute.
You told me 4:30 you have to leave.
But so I got 5 minutes to get out of the house.
No. Yeah. Don't put his makeup on, Dave. Come on.
Hold on. Let me just tell this buzz. So, a lot of people don't realize when Rich Piana, I'm the one, a lot of people remember Rich used to snort his pre-workout. I'm the one who gave him that idea because I was in Germany.
So you killed him. Good job, Dave.
No.
Good job.
I
was in Germany at Cuba. Listen to this. He was at the Mutant. This is when he worked for Mutant. And he had just torn his patella tendon. And I don't know how he did it. Like 3 days early, and he was on an airplane and he flew to Germany. He's standing at the booth. I don't know how he did it, to be honest with you. And I said, Rich, we got to do something like crazy so that like people will, remember this interview. I said, how about you snort the pre-workout? Or how about you snort some creatine? He's like, I'll snort the pre-workout. How about that? And we did it. And Mutant, it was the video was getting 1 million hits. And Mutant, I guess got upset with it because I guess they didn't want to projected it was like irresponsible what he was doing, so I had to take it down. But
all starts with pre-workout, then it goes.
After that, he couldn't stop snorting the pre-workouts.
It's the delivery system. I'm telling you, that's what the future's doing. But I got to go. I seriously got to go.
Bye, John.
All right,
bye.
All right, talk to you later. All
right. Yeah, but I couldn't imagine. Would it burn your nose? Would pre-workout burn your nose when you're fucking?
I would imagine so. It's got to be kind of like abrasive. I would think, right?
Oh, it would be, wouldn't it? Because then Normally it goes through your stomach system. You get be going to your brain a little bit, so would it be worse?
Well, I would think that it would clog. You know, all that stuff is meant to be dissolved. All that powder would get like caked in your nose and your nasal membranes. It can't be good for you. You know, plus there's sweeteners in there, and there's binders in there, and all kinds of stuff in the.
But I think even I've seen. Didn't the Trend Twins do that in one of their videos too? I think I've seen a few people do the similar things, but there's certain things that are. Hey, if anyone's listening now, here's an idea: take your pre-workout and shelve it, and see how you go.
Yeah. I always wondered. I would never have the audacity to do. I wonder if what would happen if you snorted like Trend powder or something like that. You know how they buy the raw powders from China.
What was that other stuff you used to get? Those pellets you would have to crush. What was that?
Finaplex. Yeah, but those had binders in them and everything like that, so you really couldn't do that. But these people order like pure Trend or Test or all these different powders from Europe, from China. I wonder if you measured out your dosage and you said, all right, I'm just going to do a little line of this stuff. I wonder if it would work.
And your brain goes boom. Yeah. Here's an idea. Just get the gelatin capsules, put it in the gelatin capsule and shelve it up your bum and see if that works.
There you go. I'm sure Greg has tried that. Anything up the rear end, I'm sure.
Well, I remember what contest was I at once? And I walked in the bathroom. It was the funniest sight ever when the bodybuilder was laying on his back with his legs up. And his buddy had a funnel giving him a coffee enema.
At the show?
At the show.
In the bathroom?
A little bit later. You know what happens if you get on stage and hit the most muscular and shit yourself?
Who would do that? Come on. I mean, that's talk about last minute. It's like when I see people tanning themselves backstage. I'm like, the tan is not going to – you're going on stage in 5 minutes. I don't think it's going to help this tan,
Or they're trying to do something like I've even seen them trying to sweat out the last bit of water when they're backstage. I'm like, hey, the time has gone, buddy. However you are now, you're either going to be that or whatever you do is going to make you look worse. So don't even try.
Right. You'll probably look good tomorrow
backstage. He wasn't even dyed it down properly. He was smooth as fuck. And I'm looking at
that's why people start doing desperate stuff backstage.
But you're there and he's starting to eat. He's eating all these lollies. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, the sugar will bring the veins out. I'm like,
mate. The veins are hidden by about 10 pounds of body fat.
It was that watery and fat. I'm thinking, mate, it ain't bringing the veins out. I was told it does. Well, maybe if you were fucking lean, I said, you're still about 15% body fat. I mean, it looked like you didn't even really diet.
I never understood bodybuilders. I never understood bodybuilders that didn't have any veins showing. Look at your arms. Most people have, vascularity on it. Yeah. How could you be a huge bodybuilder and not have any vascularity whatsoever?
I always found occasionally, if I got a bit nervous, they might diminish a bit, but they'd always be there just from nerves. But then the night show, you'd have veins everywhere. Or I used to find the best time you looked your best was you ever get ready for a show and you get off a tanning bed and look in the mirror. Or if you've just finished having sex, you jump up and you look in the mirror. Wow, look at me.
If I only look like this on stage, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Honey, can you come backstage and help me pump up? Where's Lee? Oh, he's just still having doggy backstage. You'll be out in a minute.
It's amazing. And I remember back when I was in college in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and there was a gym there where a lot of I worked out and all the bodybuilders were there. And I remember these guys, they'd be a week out from a show and they'd be doing their last couple workouts. They were all shaved up and, tanned. And I'm thinking to myself, and they probably, in hindsight, they probably looked okay. They probably weren't incredible. But I was so enamored. I was so like, holy mackerel, look at these guys. I mean, it was like they transformed after, shaving and tanning and put, and I'm thinking to myself, it's unbelievable. Like the muscle they had. And now looking back and for some reason, even now thinking back, I feel like they were so much ahead of what was going on. And I'm sure at the height of my career, I probably blew them out of the water. But you always remember as a young guy when you're first coming up, the people that impressed you most, right? And for some reason in your mind, you make them bigger than life almost.
Well, like I said, because some people are still get impressed with how my off-season pictures, still some people go, that wasn't really you, was it? I'm like, yeah, where you see me 12 weeks later because my head's this big and then I got a jawline. They're like, that can't be you, is it? Is that like...
Yeah, you had a big transformation. Yeah, you made a big transformation.
And that's the thing. The funny part, this is the funny thing about it was.
Plus, you wouldn't dye your hair in the off season, and then you would do the white hair.
Sometimes I let my facial hair grow. So it's like, you ever watch those makeover shows? But I always have the women and that. But I always said they had a couple of makeover shows with the men where the men were scruffy, unshaven. They'd get the men in shape and cut their hair and shave them. Men make the biggest changes than like even the women when they do a makeover show.
Yeah, because we don't wear makeup. That's why. So when you get all groomed up like that, it looks the before and after is so dramatic.
Well, I remember though, because when I used to be 285, I was heavy. But I remember I'd start dieting. I'd get to 240 now, and you can start to see the round shoulders again and this and that. People are like, "Oh, Lee, you're getting bigger. You put weight on." I'm like, I just lost 40 pounds. It's funny the illusion that the more ripped you get, the bigger you look.
Yeah. Plus, you had like no tan whatsoever in the off season, and then I'm sure you would start tanning, right?
I'd start tanning, like just tanning beds in that couple of weeks out. I wouldn't.
But it changes the way you look. It makes
some people make them. Oh yeah, people make the mistake going to tanning beds even the week of the show. Then they get burnt, and then their skin holds all the fluid and shit. And I remember how many times did you used to hear this backstage and the smell with the hot stuff. And then some people that were shredded, because that would irritate their skin. It would bring the fluid up that smooth out from.
I hated that because I always wore contact lenses, and for some reason that stuff would make the contact lenses like burn in my eyes just from being because people sprayed it all over. It was like aerosol all over the
just walking backstage, you're like, holy fuck!
But I
just got the slapping you would hear. I'm thinking. Then you see these people with their skin looks red and irritated.
But one of the earliest memories I have of going to a bodybuilding show is when you walk into the auditorium, you smell the hot stuff spray or even the posing oil. It was all it was only Protan. It was all Protan based stuff. And that smell in my mind, whenever I smell that, I just think bodybuilding show. And it was such a I loved the smell. I just loved the smell. I said, I'm in a bodybuilding show. This is like so cool,
It probably still happens now. The worst place I hate going though is when you go to a toilet at a bodybuilding show. The amount of tan that's on the wall, the toilet seat.
Around the toilet seat,
fucking Christ, what the fuck is doing?
You're probably like me. When I would be at home going to the bathroom, every time I go, I was Windexing off the toilet seat and cleaning it off.
I'd have like that real bleach spray because some of it, if you didn't get off straight away, that tan would actually start tanning.
No, I know. You have to get it off immediately. Exactly.
Yeah. But no, people just have it everywhere these days. When we put contests on here, I remember we used to get the big rolls of plastic and in the whole pump-up area, just tape it around the walls everywhere. Anywhere that somebody might bump into, I put that plastic everywhere because then you see people backstage like this and there's the curtain. They're like,
wiping their hands on the curtain. People are disgusting, right? I still go to I can't believe I go to the gym. I don't know if you notice this. You ever see these people that blow their nose into the sink?
Yeah. Oh, I hate that.
You cover up one nostril, they go into the sink. I'm like, I'm so horrified because some of it's going in the sink. The rest of it's spraying all over the other sinks. I
hate when I go to home. I go to Bunnings here. It's like Home Depot on all them. Sometimes I go in there. I go to the toilet. And then I see people leave the toilet. They don't wash their hands. And then they're going out in the store, picking stuff up off the shelf.
But I've never in my life seen, it happens in gyms all the time. They blow their nose into the sink. It's so disgusting. I don't know why they can't blow it into a tissue or piece of toilet paper and throw it in the garbage. They got to blow it like they could, almost like they think they have such good aim with the shit that's coming out of their nose. It's going to go right into the sink down the drain.
Well, what about the ones that sometimes they might have an itch and rather than scratch? I've actually seen them put their hand down their pants, give it a scratch, and then they go get the dumbbells. I'm like,
I scream at people when you cannot leave the gym without washing your hands. If you guys are listening out there, if you don't wash your hands when you leave the gym, I can't even tell you the disgustingness that's probably on your hands.
I always wash my hands, and then as I'm walking near the door, they got those antibacterial wipe things I pull out, and I wash my hands, and then I grab the door handle with that as I go out.
You're smart. You're smart. It seriously, the gym it could definitely be a breeding ground.
You put hydrogen peroxide on a cut, and it all fizzes up from all the germs and that. I said, I'd love to get a bar with knurling on it and just pour that over it.
It'd probably explode the bar.
The skin and germs in the knurling on all those.
Yeah,
the DNA in one of those bars, it would probably be like 200 people.
There's blood. You know that there's mold.
And another one too. I've seen people sit at the gym and squeeze pimples and then pick up the weights and that.
Look, I'm not going to say who it is because I've seen people pop zits in the mirror and the shit squirts onto the mirror.
We had this one guy. His acne was that bad. Swear to God, this was back in the early 90s before I come here. Yeah. On his back, he would lay on a bench, and where he'd lay, sometimes his acne was like his back was just covered. Sometimes they would bust on the bench, and there'd be like pus
and you know what? Those people would wear white shirts. I'm like, at least wear a black shirt if you're going to.
Some of them would even wear a tank top, and I'm thinking, if my back was that bad, I'd be wearing a black T-shirt forever. But they wouldn't, because they thought they had a bit of muscle. They'd be strutting around, and their back, like Helen Keller could read a fucking biography off their fucking back.
Right.
I mean,
I had acne. I hated it. You know, at the time, my girlfriend would be like, she'd pop his. Girlfriends love there's girls who are zit poppers and then the ones that don't pop zits. But the ones that pop zits, she'd be getting me anywhere. We could be in a restaurant. I'm like, you can't do this here. You know. I'm like,
I never had zits, but my girlfriend or whoever at the time when I was married in America, after the tanning products, would love to get the blackheads out. You know, with the tanning,
with their nails too. It hurts, right? And
I'm like, oh fuck, that hurts. Now I got this big, huge red mark. You know, I didn't even notice the blackhead before, but now it looks like you tried to stab me with your nails.
Well, it's worse a week after the show because that's really when the blackheads show themselves, right? After the tan is worn off, and then you can see every little pore has a blackhead in it.
Well, I used to hate going to the grocery store after like a week after, and you hand them money, and you'd have all the tan on your hands, and they just look at you like, "What the fuck is that?" It's like the whole.
And the ring around the wrists with the straps you wore.
It'd always be your knuckles, your wrists, your elbows, your knees that would stick on the longest, and you look like you had some, that, lumbago disease or whatever the fucking...
Vitiligo,
Where did I get lumbago from? I just made that one up as a good disease if you want to use it.
You know what? Even now, what you should do, I always tell guys, you know, and women, before you go get spray tan, you should put a little moisturizer on the elbows and around the wrists. And any place where you may have calluses, because it'll prevent tan from being over absorbed into those areas, and so you won't get dark spots, you know. So.
Or you just do them very last, like if you can avoid doing them, do them the day before. That way,
right? But a lot of people get spray tan now, Lee. So if you're gonna get spray tan, you really want to kind of prevent those areas from absorbing.
What about the ones who would come out super dark, but they'll never do their face? I'm thinking that just looks so weird. It's
I know, but you know what? I've also myself have done it, made my face too dark, and I'm like, and then you look like you have a black face, like you're in a minstrel.
Oh, you get in trouble these days for doing that.
You can't do that these days, right? No,
I still remember that little girl who dressed up as Pocahontas for Halloween. And
right, poor girl. I know that poor girl.
Oh, I'm thinking, she's Pocahontas. She's not even thinking about race or anything else. And the amount of hate this girl got from adults online, I'm thinking,
it's crazy.
Holy Jesus. It's like, my God.
It's crazy. Yeah. Because people, look, when people go online, they're bored on social media. So they look for people doing shit that's screwed up. It's not like that they're purposely targeting certain people, but they'll find posts that look controversial, and they'll say, let me exploit this, because then people will watch what I'm doing and it'll get my page more popular. So they'll pick something like that thinking it's innocuous. Little do they know that, this poor girl is becoming a victim now, so.
Like I said, I had a whole big argument. There was an argument going forever and ever. I can't remember, I turned the comments off because Sean Davis, who died in England, good dinosaur. Yeah. I think his funeral is actually on the 5th. They sent me a thing there with his, like, where it's at, going to be and that. But
he died a long time ago. Lee, he died a long time ago. What do you mean his funeral is just now?
Yeah, it's like it's on there like some crematorium or somewhere. So
it's like a memorial service then. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So but then but even when I just put up the photos and how we used to be with ProLab and hung out together, I got that many comments. Oh, all you care about is your friend dying. What about the kids in Palestine and that? And then this big, huge argument between people about Palestine and Israel started all over a post that I put up about my friend Sean passing, I'm thinking,
wow,
what is wrong with you people? It's like,
yeah.
oh, your friend died, big deal. Kids are dying in Palestine every day. Where's your post about that? I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, look, I didn't know we'd changed decorations. I didn't know I had to take down my Ukraine decorations and put up my Palestinian decorations. I can't keep up with all these different.
Well, you know what, Lee? That's why I don't even like I post stuff on social media, but I don't get involved usually with the comments. I didn't
even get involved with the comments on this. People just started arguing amongst themselves.
Yeah, if I read it, I know I'll get sucked into it. So I don't get
sucked into it. I just sit there laughing at these people going, oh my God. It's not even your page. You're arguing on a page.
No, you like to argue with those. You enjoy arguing with those idiots.
Not about those things, because those type of things you're never gonna. No. Someone's either going to be pro-Israel, pro-Palestine. Right, I just think no war's good, no matter what. People innocent get killed on either side, but these people are so.
I'm actually surprised that bodybuilders will even argue about politics and stuff like that. Like all these, I'm very surprised because bodybuilders are so into themselves and into like the training that I'm surprised that they get involved with these religious and these political arguments.
Yeah, the only thing I hate about the political side is I don't really care who's in. What I hate about the politics is more what it does to the average person. Like here in Australia, like the same as America, we're letting all these people in, yet our homeless people are getting kicked out of places to let the illegals in and shit like that. So I'm more into it where I just hate when the government shits on its own people.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. So it's like, even now, it's like, I hate how when they always say America's systemically racist, it's this, it's that, but I'm thinking, same as Australia, I'm thinking all the people coming here are either immigrants, either they're black, they're Hispanic, they're whatever. I'm thinking, if you knew a country was that racist,
why would you go there?
They'd be like, imagine if Hitler won the war and your Jewish family goes, hey, Germany looks like a good place, let's go live in Germany.
Right.
You wouldn't go. So if America was that racist, all these minorities wouldn't be fucking coming there. It's like, come on.
Yeah, it's unfortunately we live in a very divisive.
That's why I'm worried about the world right now, because the way it's going, I'm thinking there's something big planned, And then, like I said before, when that lunatic Zuckerberg from Facebook, when he's building a bomb shelter like a thing in Hawaii, when anyone else who builds one is an idiot. Now he's building one. People go, does he know something we don't know? Why would he be building a bomb shelter?
I don't know. Yeah, I think when you have that much money, I mean, remember when Bill Gates built that house on the side of the mountain? I mean, this was like 30 years ago, and he had stuff that people are just getting in their houses now, like smart cameras and smart this and smart that, because he was the richest guy in the world. He had all the money. I would do the same thing, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you build some kind of elaborate house?
I'd have like a house like Iron Man or something,
Yeah, I mean, you'd want something if you could afford it. Like I don't blame Zuckerberg. I'd build something like a.
But then again, if I'm like Elon Musk and that, I'd be building my own little fucking space station.
If you and I built what Zuckerberg's building, they'd say we built a man cave. Zuckerberg built it, so it's a bunker. You know what I mean? It's just his little private thing where he can go.
It's actually deep in the ground and that. But I'm thinking now, if they start building little space stations for themselves, then but they could afford it. Elon Musk could build his own little space station up there and go.
RFK Jr. was telling a story about during the Cuban Missile Crisis. He was a kid, right? And so his father, Bobby Kennedy, was at the White House with JFK, and they didn't leave for like a week. They were there, and they were trying to figure out how to settle this thing. And so they had like in the Virginia mountains someplace, they had a retreat where it was like an underground city, and where they would bring all the dignitaries and all the politicians' families and the important people's families.
The ones who fucked it up and caused the war. Yeah, that's where they take.
Well, yeah, right. Well, they were going to bring him there just for safety, and so they were going to come and pick him up, and he was all excited. He's like, I had heard about this. He said I even heard they had a McDonald's there, and I wanted to see what this safety city was all about. And his father called him and he says, "You're not going." And remember, they had a lot of kids. I think he had like 11 brothers. He's like, "What do you mean we're not going?" He was all upset because he wanted to check this place out. He heard it was really cool. He goes, "We're not going because if we do that and you don't go to school on Monday, people are going to think something's wrong and it's going to cause a panic." And he said, "To be honest with you," he goes, "if there is a nuclear war, you don't want to be on one of the survivors anyway. It's not going to be good. So they never went. But
we're all going to hide, but you're going to school to make it look normal. So
yeah. now, if you think about it, he has a point. Like, I mean, I don't know if you'd want to be a survivor after a nuclear war. You know, you might be better off as one of the ones that died.
How long do you have to stay down there before you can actually come out?
Right. Who knows? Now, I'm sure Hawaii is probably way more protected than the mainland, areas, but I don't know. I think that Zuckerberg's been building it not because he thinks there's something coming, but more because he just doesn't know what to do with his money and he thinks it's cool, probably.
No, who knows? You never know those elites, Dave. You never know. It's like
unless they're leaving the planet and going to like some special installation that they built on the moon.
Well, isn't there? I've seen it pop up every now and then on YouTube. I haven't looked at it, but isn't there meant to be something under? Is it Denver or one of the airports? I reckon there's some city or something under one of the airports or something.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was Denver, right? Didn't they build that airport over something? Yeah. Yeah,
there's something meant to be under. I always see pop up what is under. Somewhere, I think it's on that conspiracy channel I told you about.
Well, that Roswell, wherever that is, and that supposedly is a big underground city in there too, where they have all.
They're in Area 51. They're in Area 51. Up in the mountains.
Yeah. So
there's special hangars in the mountains that open up at night time. Experimental aircraft out.
Yeah.
What was that movie that just came out not long ago? It was one of those end of the world movies, and they had all those ark ships built ready and they all got on board the ark ships. So
I for some reason I like those movies where they're building ark. I forget what movie. There was a couple. There was two of them that was like that.
Yeah.
One were
I think on that one, Danny Glover,
and then one were actually spaceships that took off. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's these were actually like big ships, like almost like Noah's Ark, but futuristic ones.
They were.
I think Danny Glover might have been the president in that one. He stayed behind, but then the big tidal waves come and.
Yeah, what movie was that? I don't remember what movie that was. Yeah, but I like, for some reason I like those movies. I don't know why. I like the whole the theoretical concept of it. I don't know.
But the thing was that they went inside this mountain, and there are these big, huge ships, like 5 times the size of the Titanic, and then you're like, what?
Yeah, they've been secretly building them for like 10 years, right, Lee? I think that's what it was. They were
what's that thing they're building now? It's called, what's that thing the line they're building in Saudi Arabia? You seen that goes through the desert?
Oh, the community that they're building? Yeah.
It's like 25 miles long. It's just like called the line.
It's like a self-sustaining like society, like where you never have to leave there. I think, matter of fact, you're not allowed to leave there, right? If you
Google it, it's massive the way they're building. It's just like, oh my god!
But I like that stuff. I know people think it's like, it's it's the end of the world. I said, I think we should be building shit like that.
Well, we should have that in Australia. We've got so much desert here. We should be building that out in Australia. That's right. More people. It's like, we're running out of room around the
prime real estate that we're not using it. And think about how much sunlight you guys have there.
Look at people back in the day when whatever Bugsy or whoever went out the middle of the desert in Vegas and said, I'm going to start this here. They all laughed at that. Now look at Vegas.
Bugsy Siegel, yeah.
Or look at Dubai, all that sort of stuff that's grown out of there. It's like,
I love looking at innovation like that. I think that's phenomenal. I think that's think about the person who conceptualized that and then actually made it happen. It's like almost a miracle because it probably took billions of dollars to build all that, billions.
And the thing is, though, in Australia, everyone lives around the coast. We've got, probably most of our land's inland, it's desert, but yet when they wanted to film that last Mad Max, it rained and they couldn't because they got so much water, the desert turned into this beautiful oasis of flowers, and then it's
it did. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's funny.
So it's not really like a wasteland now, is it? We've got all green. Because I had to film it in South Africa, but that's the thing. These places that are desert, if you can get water to them, it can flourish.
Well, look, I mean, like you said, Dubai. I mean, they have sprinklers and they have palm trees growing there. It looks great.
Palm Springs back in the day was nothing but whatever till they got water out there.
Well, people don't realize California palm trees are not indigenous to California. They are to Florida, but they brought all those trees into California. Those trees don't grow there. So
That's why water's getting so expensive, and that's going to be the commodity of the future.
Right, that'll be the next thing we don't have enough of. They kind of keep there's too much water. We got to take some of the water away from them.
You know, things are really weird, Dave. When a bottle of water costs more than a can of Coke and stuff like that, and I'm thinking it's water. It's like what?
Lee, go to an amusement park like Disneyland and see what they charge for water. It's like $10. You know?
I know. I was, just like a little 500 ml bottle. Yeah,
Diet Coke is like $12 there. It's unbelievable.
Uh-huh. And a burger's like $25.
Yeah. And you're stuck in the park. What are you going to do? Not eat? Yeah, of course you.
Well, it's like airports. Look at airports. Once you get through security, if you want to get food or a drink, you're like, how much? $12 for a sandwich? Just a normal little sandwich.
Actually, you know, tomorrow I'm flying to my sister's in Connecticut. And it's the first time I'll be on an airplane since right before COVID. So when was that? 2019? That's a long time. I haven't been on an airplane for 5 years.
No, you go, you'll be going through security again, going, oh, here we go. What is shit?
Yeah, I know. And, you know, when I was flying all the time, I had all this, like, you know, status and frequent flyers, and I can get through. Now I'm just like a regular loser that has to stand.
Hey, just scum, wait in line, get back.
Luckily, the Fort Myers airport is very small, so it's not that bad.
Just like I said, I always plan ahead, so it's like I have no metal clippings on my pants or that. As I'm lining up, anything like watches or metal, I put in my carry-on little bag, so I go through the X-ray. You always get those assholes who once they get up there, then they start taking everything off.
Lee, you should see me going through security because not only, first of all, I have the pacemaker, so I can't go through the thing. They can't wand me down, so they got to pat me down, and they hate that. Plus, I have so much metal in my body. I got 2 shoulder replacements. I got the ankle, you know, the hardware in there. I'm like radioactive when I go through those things. So
I always tell them when they start patting me down, when I put my arms out and my legs like this, I deliberately flex my muscles tighter, and they go, ooh,
Lee's like, give you a happy ending.
They go, you're well developed. I'm like, oh, yeah, I said, that's good. Actually, I got a sore shoulder. Can you just do that?
Yeah, you probably get the gay guys probably go, I'll pat him down.
Yeah. But every time they get near my calves and then I tense them and they're like, whoa. Whenever I travel, I wear long, loose pants and stuff. So and they're like, oh, they're trying to tell if it's something cracked in there. It's my muscle.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. I gotta get packing because I'm leaving tomorrow.
That's the worst thing about traveling now. It's like I always love getting where I'm going, but that whole packing, going to the airport, the security, waiting, that's the worst.
Lee, I used to have a bag packed at all times because I was traveling every weekend. So now I have to sit down and actually think about what I need to bring, which is driving me crazy because I'm like, I know I'm gonna forget something, right? And
I get paranoid like that, even though I've checked 100 times when I drive to Sydney because it's a 2-hour drive. I'm always like, did I put my passport in? I'm sure I did. Let me just pull over and check again. Oh, there it is. It's like I start thinking little
because
shit like
it's a horrible feeling to get to the airport and you're missing something. It's like, oh no, how did I forget that? It was sitting right on the counter. I didn't take it.
I did that once going to Brazil with Black Skull. I forgot my wallet.
Oh my God.
So at the airport, I didn't have, this was before I had like my card on my phone. So I'm at the airport. I got no money to buy food before I get on the plane. I'm like, that's okay. They feed me on the plane. And when I get to Brazil, they take care of shit. Yeah. But just that drive down there, because I was already driven, I think, well, I got my passport, so I got ID. Right. And just not having your wallet was like this whole fucking.
Oh, Jerry, it's very unnerving to not have a credit card in today's world. Yeah, no, because you're essentially at the mercy of your environment at that point.
Well, especially now if people won't take cash, because 2 weeks ago, one of the carriers like Optus for phones went down for like 5 hours. People couldn't do their banking. They couldn't do this. Shops who used Optus for their credit card machines couldn't do shit. Nobody's got cash anymore. So for 5 hours, people went into panic mode because they couldn't do anything with their phones.
Exactly. And a lot of people have Apple Pay, whatever. They have a credit card stored in their iPhone, so they can. That's what they use their credit card.
They couldn't do that because the carrier, like I have Telstra and Optus, the carrier like Verizon, went down for so many hours they couldn't even use.
No, I know. I'm saying that's and a lot of people depend on that. They don't even carry credit cards anymore. So.
Remember the credit cards before this? they'd put your card in that machine and go,
Yeah.
and they'd write down, and you'd have to sign it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't do that anymore. If the power goes out, we're screwed pretty much.
I remember the power was out here. I think it was like after a hurricane, and there were some people who had machines, those old machines.
Yeah, they did.
I couldn't even believe they still had the machine. I'm like, where'd you get that? Oh, we had it from like 5 years ago. I'm like, oh shit.
And the people look at that and go, oh, what is that ancient thing?
Yeah, exactly.
It's from the pyramids.
Right. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I don't know where John is. And thank you, Lee. And we will be back again next week. I'll be doing Heavy Muscle Radio, probably from my hotel room in Connecticut. So I'm going to be up north. I actually have to pack a winter jacket, Lee. Can you believe it?
Pay no attention to that Japanese plane and the other plane that landed on the airport.
Can you believe I got it? This might be the first time in 5 years I wear a winter jacket. I'm going to have to actually
put a real coat on. Is it cold there now? Is it?
No, but I'm going to New York. Connecticut, New York. It's freezing there.
But is it snow up there?
Yeah. I got to wear a jacket.
You'd be like, I know why I left this shithole.
That's right. And knowing me, I like to wear shorts. I have to wear pants too, because I'll be freezing my what's off otherwise.
Is Jimmy going to come visit you?
I don't. I got to call him and tell him I'm going to be in town. But you know him; he's going to have like 14 jobs to go to, and I will be on Long Island on Saturday, so I'm going to see if he can maybe pop in and say hello.
Saturday he doesn't work. He's got no excuse.
All right. I'm gonna text him. I should have got him on the show to put him on the spot, but maybe I'll surprise him. You know how he showed up at my house? I'll just show up at his house.
Show up at his house. The only problem is he's got that many guns. He might be coming to.
Yeah, he might start firing at me. I'll be like, Jimmy, it's me. You're a doppelganger.
Dave Palumbo shot by Jimmy at the front door. We were right to report on Dave Palumbo's death. He went to surprise Jimmy, and Jimmy shot him.
All right, guys. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for joining us.